You're listening to Hugo Talks. Now, you may remember a couple of weeks ago I put out a video called Mass Formation Color Mind Programming, or something like that, where I showed numerous examples where the use of the color scheme blue and yellow was used throughout the last 2 years in relation to lockdowns, jib-jabs, NHS, all that stuff, in adverts on the telly, adverts in newspapers and articles and photographs, all of that stuff. Absolutely tons of it. And then a month or so ago, the whole plandemic, jib-jab propaganda suddenly stopped. And all of a sudden, as if someone flicked a switch, governments around the world suddenly said, oh, we're just going to stop all the restrictions. You don't need to do it anymore. You can stop masks. Like all of a sudden, and this coincided with the Ukraine-Russia thing starting. And then the fake stream media, they started to push and bombard everybody with propaganda from that. So they swapped one propaganda crisis with a new one. A very quick and smooth transfer. But the colours remained the same blue and yellow. And in that video I suggested, is there some form of colour programming going on? Well, this led me to look into other things. For example, the Channel 4 show Utopia, which used yellow and blue throughout, a show where the story was all about viruses, vaccines, and government plots to depopulate the world because of climate change. And then also the Freemasons, very fond of that yellow and blue combination, especially on their logo, and tashis they wear, as you can see here. I also looked into the Rothschild family. Now, here we see a photo of one of their castles, which was lit up in blue and yellow the other day, in support of Ukraine, okay? Now, when it comes to people talking about families, bloodlines, banking dynasties that control the world with the power of their massive wealth, well, this family is the one that gets mentioned the most. Some people say they own nearly all of the central banks of the world. The fake stream media say, no, that's not true. They will say, well, they used to have lots of control in the past, but that's not the case anymore now. Well, I don't know so much. It seems to me that the super rich don't usually tend to lose money. They just get richer and consolidate their wealth over time. That's the way it seems to go. It's more likely they just hide their incredible wealth. Look at this from 2017. Ukraine picks Rothschild as advisor, hopes for debt swap. And here we see Ukraine working with Rothschild on funding strategy. Eurobond banks mandated. So they are clearly still working with countries and their finances. But the main point of this video is how they use this colour scheme. So, like I was saying, here is this castle of theirs lit up in blue and yellow for Ukraine. But this is not unusual, as these are their colours they use all the time. The colours, blue and yellow, run throughout everything that they do. For a starter, here is their coat of arms, which is predominantly yellow and blue. Here is their logo, which turns up on most of their banking, financial investment companies, and so forth. Here is their coat of arms on one of the gates to one of their properties, of course, using those two colours. They're big into horse racing, and their riders always wear blue and yellow, as it's their colours, as can be seen here by these designs. And this goes way back, as can be seen on this old cigarette card. They founded a football team in Austria. Story goes that the gardeners of the Rothschild estate were kicking a ball around in the garden while they were on a break, and it was messing up their flowers. So they bought some land nearby, the Rothschilds, for them to play on. And this eventually became First Vienna, the Austrian football club, which of course have their colours yellow and blue, as you can see here. It's Austria's oldest football team. It's nearly 130 years old. They were using this colour scheme back then. There are members of the family that have boats and yachts and go into sailing competitions under the Rothschild name, and they use that colour scheme here in the design of their boats to signify the family name. It's their colour trademark. There is a street in Tel Aviv named after them called Rothschild Boulevard, which has a number of sculptures in it. This one I don't know what it's supposed to be. It looks like a big climbing frame, but of course it has to be yellow and blue. Also in the street there is a bull statue and a statue of a man. Both of these statues are of course in that colour scheme. Also on Rothschild's Boulevard in Tel Aviv there is a hotel which is called Rothschild Hotel, and as you can see they are fond of using blue and yellow lighting, and their chairs also have that same colour scheme. There is a bird named after the Rothschilds called the Myna. Here it is, it's white, but it has two other colours that stick out, yellow beak and blue round the eye. This colour scheme can be found on their perfume, as on this bottle, on this sign to one of their vineyards. The Rothschild Chateau got the logo of sorts on the left hand side. We've got wine bottle designs. It's on books. This colour matchup, this particular book, is a strategy investment planner from Edmund de Rothschild. And as we can see here, this is a financial institution. We see two flags in this photo, both yellow and blue. Here is the Edmund de Rothschild's Foundation. Again, blue, yellow logo. Here is a Rothschild & Co. annual report. Again, the same two colours. This is a constant thing you will see throughout their investment companies, this colour scheme. Here it is on their bottles of champagne. On the logo, the same colour scheme. This is an architect company, Dixon Rothschild, and here is the managing director, okay? And he's sitting on a yellow chair with a blue jumper on behind a painting that is yellow and blue, okay? Here's another one. Erenda Rothschild Foundation website. Again, we see the same colour scheme. And I could go on. There's still more here. I haven't gone into the clothes and other stuff, but it's very clear that the two colours are used by the Rothschild family for well over 100 years. And they have used these colours wherever they have interacted with the world, wherever they have a business or a venture of some kind. They use these two colours to signify where they've been. It's like a calling card, you know? I just thought it was weird that we have been seeing this colour throughout the last 2 years. And like I said earlier, the media, the fake stream media, jumped from bombarding us about jib-jab lockdown crises and straight into the Ukraine-Russia crisis, and they never needed to change the colour scheme. Both so-called crises where the media are asking and telling people to do things like taking refugees or get the jab or lose your job. Constantly trying to coerce people into doing stuff that they don't want to do. These so-called crises have created financial repercussions that look about to be bringing about a collapse of the nation's economies. And when we go back in history and people talk about families and super rich families that have funded like both sides of the war and whatever, the name Rothschild comes up, doesn't it? A lot. And it just so happens that they use the same colour scheme. That same colour scheme that I made a video about 2 weeks ago. And I just thought it was, strange. It's probably just a coincidence. Just like all the other coincidences that seem to be happening around us a lot these days. But I thought I'd just show you what I found. Let us know what you think in the comments. As always, thank you for listening. Comment, subscribe to the tribe at hugotalks.com, a place for like-minded souls. And I'll see you later.